So Representative Sims, thank you so much for sitting down with me.
Thanks for coming, Jackie. Welcome to Flemingsburg.
Thank you. So you have announced that you are not going to run for re-election. Tell me a little bit about that decision and what brought you to that.
Yeah, it's a family decision for me. I have 3 young daughters, 13, 11, and 8. She'll be 8 next month. So I'm missing a lot of home. I need to be home to help Jenny with the girls, and then also our family business, our local Dairy Queen. You know, need to be home around that. And then I probably will do something later on next time around on the local level.
And obviously, you still have another year left in your term. So why did you decide to announce this early on?
I'm one of those people that like to do things the right way instead of wait till the last second and then file and then unfile and have somebody else sneak in there. I wanted to give people plenty of time to think about it and let them know if they want to run or not.
And speaking of wanting to do things the right way, you have always been one that works across the aisle and comes to a good product because of the work you do with bipartisanship. So is that something you would like to see in the next person who represents this district?
Definitely. And that's important, being able to work across the aisle, because in the House side there's several new members from the 16 election and the 18 election. So there's new folks rolling in, and those folks, we're willing to work together and try to compromise to get something done.
So what do you think is the biggest lesson you've learned from being in the legislature?
Oh, the biggest lesson, government moves real slow still. Something simple, it should be no-brainer, it's not happening. It takes time to get it done.
So what would be your top piece of advice to new lawmakers or even the people that are there right now?
If you go in, if you're in the minority like I was, don't be in a rush. You're not going to get a whole lot done. Play nice, and then you work across the aisle, and they'll help you get stuff done if you need done.
So what do you feel is your biggest accomplishment during your time in the legislature?
Biggest accomplishment? I don't know. We're working on the medical marijuana. I think that's going to be my biggest one if we can get that done this coming up session. I've worked on that since I first got there, and turned it over to Representative Nemes and St. Ange last year to let them kind of push and champion that bill. So that's probably my biggest one.
And that kind of goes into my next question of what would you like to accomplish before your term ends?
I'd like to do the medical marijuana bill, do an infrastructure bill, transportation bill. Our roads need help, bridges. It's a mess throughout the state.
So we're definitely going to talk about infrastructure, but first let's talk about the special session coming up. In the 2019 session, a pension bill passed that dealt with quasi-governmental agencies and universities at the regional universities. That was vetoed by the governor, mainly due to some technical changes. I know that the Democratic caucus had a meeting with his administration this week to talk about the bill. So where do you feel that's at? I know he said in May, probably in special sessions.
Definitely. We thought we'd be in this week, but we're not yet, unless he announces this afternoon. We're in tonight, you never know. But we met with Brian Sutherland and John Chilton and David Eger from the retirement system yesterday for about an hour and a half, and answered some good questions and stuff. So we're all still digesting the information we had to make a good decision.
What's your feeling about the bill and the need for a solution? Because if something doesn't get done by July 1, then the quasi-government agencies and those universities see their rates go up substantially.
Definitely, yeah. I think 87%. We're there at 49 now, and a lot of health departments and quasi-governments can't afford that. They'll be shutting down, and then that falls back on the state to fund that and keep those entities open.
Right. So what do you think the solution maybe should be?
Wow, man. More revenue is one thing, I'm going to pre-file a bill to raise the sales tax next session.
By how much?
I started at 2 cents. That's where I went. It's going to be about $1.2 billion, I think, maybe a little bit more to do that, and we can do a lot with that money.
Yeah, and would you have it, a lot of people come up with these bills and dedicate it to a certain thing. Would it be dedicated to just pensions or overall?
I haven't got that far. I think overall, in general, yeah.
Because there are plenty of things in the state that need to be funded.
Definitely. With Senate Bill 1, the school safety bill, there's, it's a great bill, but there's no funding for that.
Right, and definitely the pension issue is crowding out a lot of funding.
Definitely, yes.
And next year's budget is going to be extremely difficult, I imagine. So let's talk about the 2019 session in general.
Okay.
What do you feel were the biggest accomplishments, and what were your feelings overall about how it went this year?
It went good. The school safety bill was an important bill. That work group worked all summer long to get a good bill drafted, and when they presented it, we had to do little changes to it, but it was good at the end of the day. I got 2 bills passed this session. As the only Democrat to get 2 bills passed, so I appreciate that. And we had the school tobacco-free school bill, House Bill 11, I think, Representative Moser's bill. The fix the tax cleanup for the nonprofits, the bank franchise tax. I'm trying to think, the kinship care, foster care rights for the children. There are several bills.
So you wanting to deal with tax reform again, obviously with the sales tax, but what else do you feel like needs to be done in tax reform? Because obviously the state does need more revenue, and we've been talking about tax reform for decades, and no one can ever come to a solution.
Definitely. Look at all those sacred cows, as they call them out there. If it's ag-related or food or I don't want, medicine, I still like to leave medicine alone. But and look at some of the tax breaks we give, railways and airports and Amazon. They don't pay any taxes at all. I mean, we're great to have those folks in our state, but they're billion-dollar companies and not helping out any.